This is my first video update coming to you from Nicosia, Cyprus on this Monday morning. Let's talk about some news and let's start things off with the Leopard 2 tank debacle, the S show that this is turning out to be. So you had the Polish Prime Minister, Morawiecki. He lashed out at Germany the other day, and he said that if Germany does not give the okay to Poland and the other countries that want to send their Leopard 2s, well, then they're going to create their own little coalition, their own little group of countries to come together outside of German supervision. And they're going to figure out a way to send their Leopard 2 tanks. Because according to Morawiecki, it would be illegal if these countries were to send the Leopard 2s to Ukraine. And Germany has noted as much. They have said that in order for you to send your Leopard 2s, you need our permission. And so Morawiecki, he is saying, look, if we don't get German permission, then, well, we're just going to figure out a way. Poland, Lithuania, and other countries that really want to send these Leopard 2s to Ukraine, we're going to find a way to do it. And I just say to myself, do it. I mean, what's stopping you? All of a sudden, the Polish leadership is concerned with breaking contracts or committing some type of illegality vis-a-vis Germany. Is that the issue, really? Now you're concerned with breaking the law? Okay. All of a sudden, following contracts and agreements is it's super duper important now, all of a sudden. Oh boy. When it comes to the tanks, you have to follow the agreements you have with Germany. You have to. So we have to wait for German permission. For all the other stuff, it doesn't matter. Seizing assets, Minsk 1, Minsk 2, all the other stuff, laws are really not that important. Following agreements is not that important. Who cares? But when it comes to tanks to Ukraine, well, then, we can't break the law there. We can't break agreements with Germany there, can we? The whole thing is ridiculous. Poland, I think two things are going on with Poland. I think the one thing that's going on with Poland, just cross here, is that Poland and other EU countries, they know that Zelensky is cooked. They know it. And so they're creating this whole Germany doesn't send the Leopard 2 controversy, or Germany refuses to give us permission to send our Leopard 2 controversy, so that when everything does collapse, they can easily blame Germany. They're going to blame it on Germany. You see, Germany, if you had just given us permission to send the Leopard 2s earlier, then, we would have been able to break through Russia's defensive lines, and we would have gone all the way. We would have taken those tanks all the way to through Crimea, all the way to Rostov and Vladivostok. We would have taken those tanks all the way to Vladivostok if you just did not delay giving us the permission for the Leopard 2s. That's the first thing with Poland. The second thing with Poland is they want those Leopard 2s so that they can buy time. They can buy time so that they can prepare everything on their end so that they can come into the west of Ukraine. So they're kind of in a bit of a panic in that, if Russia does deliver a knockout blow before we're ready to reclaim Lviv, then, all of our planning is gone to waste. So they're looking for any way to extend the conflict up until the spring, summer. So for them, artillery, ammo, weapons, and Leopard 2s. If that can extend the conflict another month or two, then let's get those Leopard 2s in there. But just send your Leopard 2s, man. I mean, what are you waiting for Germany? Why are you so concerned about legalities now? Even Annalena Baerbock, according to Reuters, she even said that if Warsaw were to send the Leopard 2s, then Berlin would not have a problem with it. Really interesting to see Chancellor Baerbock, I mean, Foreign Minister Baerbock, make such a decision. It really goes to show that Olaf Scholz is not exactly running everything in Germany, is he? But people like Baerbock, they wanted the Leopard 2s delivered to Ukraine because these are the dummies that actually believe that the Leopard 2s are going to make a difference. I think you have like ideologues like Baerbock and Van der Crazy who actually believe that if we can get the Leopard 2s to Ukraine, then they really are going to march through Crimea, past Rostov, through Voronezh, all the way to Vladivostok. I mean, they actually believe that. These are people that actually are that dumb. They're dumb enough to believe that they can win this war if they just got the Leopard 2s. So I think that you have another class of EU leadership that is just brain dead and actually buys into the release the leopard propaganda BS, that this is going to be the game changer. This one's really going to be the game changer. Not the HIMARS, not the Switchblade drones, not everything else. The javelins and the javelinas and all of these things. It's gonna be the Leopard 2s, and when it's not the Leopard 2s, it'll be the F-16s. So I mean, this is their thinking. Interesting how they continuously move the goalpost, isn't it? This didn't work, so now we're going to deliver the new wonder weapon, and when that one doesn't work, it's going to be the next wonder weapon. The hope strategy. It's the hope strategy. But yeah, there's another class of EU leadership that actually believes this. There's also another group of EU leaders that they're just trying to make money from the military-industrial complex. These are people like, say like Ben Hodges. He's not a leader, but he's one of the guys that is promoting the delivery of Leopard 2s because he wants the MIC to make money. You know, there's guys like that. There are guys that are in it for the profit, for the money. Ben Hodges put out a tweet the other day. He said, "The Ukrainians know that the decisive terrain is Crimea. With tanks from the west, Ukraine could create an armored brigade to serve as the spearhead of a force to break through Russian defenses towards Mariupol to continue the isolation of Crimea." Yeah, for Ben Hodges and guys like this, it's all about the money. It's all about the money for them, right? The tanks are going to break through, get to Crimea, and it's game over. It's game over for Putin. So that was Ben Hodges' his tweet there. You also have a U.S. lawmaker, Michael McCowell, I think. One sec. Michael McCowell from Texas. He's actually on the I think he's on the Foreign Relations Committee. He actually said that the U.S. should send one Abrams tank to Ukraine, and by sending that Abrams tank, well, then that would mean that Germany has no more excuses. They have to then send the Leopard 2s, and this guy is like on the Foreign Relations Committee. I think he was speaking to ABC News or something like that. U.S. Representative McCall from Texas. He said, if we announced we were going to give Abrams tanks, just one, What I hear is that Germany is waiting for us to take the lead, Mikhail said on Sunday in an ABC News interview. Then they would put Leopard tanks in. he's a Republican who chairs the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Even saying we're going to put Abrams tanks in, I think, would be enough for Germany to unleash its Leopard tanks. They really love this whole release the leopards, unleash the leopards, free the leopards. They really love that stuff, don't they? So that's coming from a Republican representative. Let's just send one tank, and then, it's checkmate for Germany. These guys, they play Mikhail, he's playing like 10D chess, all right? I know a way that we can checkmate Germany. Let's just send one tank, and then they have to. That's it, they have to. They have to send the Leopard 2s. But he's on the Foreign Affairs Committee. I'm sure that he's like Ben Hodges. It's all about the military-industrial complex for guys like Mikhail. So I think you have like 3 different sets of collective West leadership that's being exposed from this whole tank debacle. You have the group of leaders that want to pin the blame on Germany. Poland also wants a little bit of territory back. You have the leadership that's just dumb enough to actually believe that the Leopards are going to make a difference because they're ideologically invested and possessed. And then you have people that are in it for the grift, for the military-industrial complex. So that's what's going on there. You then have, let's walk down this way. I'm actually at the courthouses. I took a walk all the way around from the city center, and now back there was the Supreme Court, and this whole area is the Nicosia courthouse. So let's see. You then have the whole narrative about seizing Russian assets. That's still going on as well. The tanks, the seizing of Russian assets. This is a worse debacle than the turbine story. The Schultz Trudeau, Justin, you idiot turbine story. Like, this is worse. The tanks and the seizing of assets. But they really want to get their hands on this money. And when it comes to assets, seizing the assets, they're not concerned about legalities and laws and stuff like that. For that, they're okay. Unless you're Switzerland. Actually, Switzerland did say that they're not going to allow the seizing of assets because that would break international law. So I think like over here, you start entering the green zone, the buffer zone, from Cyprus to the occupied north. So the courthouses, they just kind of sit right on the buffer. No man's land. So you have the seizing of assets now. You have the EU, the second in command to Van der Crazy. He would probably say that he's an equal to Van der Crazy, but I think he's like a second fiddle to Ursula. But Michel, he said that the EU is interested in using Russia's foreign assets to support Ukraine. According to Michel, there is, and I quote, a serious political interest in making progress and resolving this issue. It should be done in accordance with legal principles. Let's legalize theft and robbery. That's pretty much what he's saying. Let's legalize theft and robbery of assets. Everything has to be legal, right? For them, even if it's illegal. Even if it's illegal, they have to make it legal somehow. Bend the law, amend the law. Poland's concerned about sending the tanks because, well, that would be illegal if we send the tanks without Germany's permission. And Michel's problem is that they can't get to the assets unless they bend the law, unless they figure out a way to make the seizing of assets legal. The problem is that once they create these new laws and they find these new loopholes and they use them against Russia, the problem is that they're going to start using them against everybody else. That's the problem there. But they want that money. Boy, do they want that money. Finland, well, they have already seized 187 million in Russian assets. They've already gone ahead and seized those assets, and they're trying to figure out ways now to distribute those assets to Ukraine, right? That's what they're trying to figure out, the Finnish authorities. Some of these assets are like from companies like Yandex and oligarchs as well that had property in Finland. So the Finnish government, they're one step ahead of the theft. So this is the Armenian cemetery. And you see right over here is the no man's land. I don't even know if you're allowed to film, to be honest, in this area. You can see the buildings, remnants of the past, remnants of the 70s. Frozen in time. So, yeah. Finland's doing its part. Estonia said they're going to do their part, and they're just trying to find a way to make robbery legal again. Again, I say that again because they've done it to Cyprus, they've done it to Greece. They've done this stuff before. The more things change, the more they stay the same when it comes to the EU and their desire to seize assets. In Ukraine, we have a couple of interesting stories. We have the story coming out of the intelligence chief, this guy who goes by the name of Budanov. I believe it's Kirill Budanov, if I'm not mistaken. Kirillo Budanov. He's the military intelligence guy. And he came out with an admission the other day. He said that the negotiations that were taking place were meant between Russia and Ukraine way back in like the beginning of the SMO. These negotiations were meant, according to him, they were meant for Ukraine to buy time so that they could further prepare in the conflict against Russia. And there was actually a negotiator who was killed during these negotiations, a Ukrainian negotiator who was killed by the SBU, and Budanov has admitted as much. And there was like some sort of struggle for power between like military intelligence and the SBU, the state intelligence. I think the military intelligence is the GUR, I believe, and the SBU is like the state intelligence apparatus, and there's like some sort of power struggle going on there. But this guy, I think his name was Kines, I want to say, something like that, Kin something. You guys will tell me in the comments down below. But he was murdered. He was one of the negotiators working for Ukraine, and he was taken out because I'm not sure I really understand the story. Either he was not dragging the negotiations on long enough, or he was dragging them on too much. One of the two. Either he was trying to wrap things up and trying to find a settlement, or too quickly, or he wasn't buying enough time, something like that. And they got rid of him. So anyway, the main part of what I want to say is that this guy Budanov, who definitely wants to take over once Zelensky is disposed of. This guy's making a big play for more power. This guy is saying that that the whole negotiations was just another mechanism to buy time, something along the lines of the Minsk I and the Minsk II agreements with Angela Merkel and her admission, Hollande's admission, Poroshenko's admission, that all of it was just meant to dupe Russia. They love to admit that, don't they? They love to admit that they got the better of Putin and the better of Russia. They really, really like that. Like they fooled the Russians. They really like to admit that. They really shouldn't be saying this stuff. I mean, Budanov should not be saying this. Merkel should not have admitted to what she admitted with Minsk I and Minsk II, but they have a need to reveal the fact that, they outsmarted, in their opinion, they outsmarted Putin. They want to admit to their deception. That's why they say it. That's why they can't hold back. They have to say it. They want to say the truth, It's like A Few Good Men. Remember the movie A Few Good Men? And Tom Cruise, I forgot his character's name, but Tom Cruise, he was going to put Colonel Jessup on the stand. And Demi Moore, asked him, why, there's a big risk to put Jessup on the stand. If you don't get the outcome that you want, you could be court-martialed. And Tom Cruise was like, he wants to admit that he ordered the code red. I know that he wants to admit it. Demi Moore was like, why do you say that? And he's like, I know it. Guys like Jessup, they don't want to hide. They want to admit their lies and their deception and all these things. They want to admit these things. Anyway, that's a good movie. That's what this reminds me of. That's why Merkel says what she says. That's why Hollande says it. That's why this guy Budanov is saying that during negotiations, we were just trying to buy time as well. They want to admit it. So that was big news. And then we have Arestovich as well, who continues to blab on and on and on. And I mean, Arestovich, man, get out of Dodge. If Arestovich does not leave Ukraine, as he's saying some of these things, then this is a psyop. Then he's CIA 100%. No doubt about it. Because he's saying stuff that, this guy's already on the kill list. He's saying stuff that could easily get him liquidated. He said that, what did he say here? 1 second, as that big truck passes. Alexei Arestovich says that Russia tried to conduct a smart war, avoiding civilians, and gave the military a chance to surrender first. I mean, yeah, that's true. That's exactly what Russia did in the beginning. So that they can get to the negotiations that this guy Budanov was talking about, that they used to buy time. Russia's initial goal was to get Ukraine to the negotiation table and to have neutrality, honor the Minsk agreements, and to have Ukraine put into their constitution that they would remain neutral and not join NATO. And Arestovich is admitting as much. And then he's saying that Russia conducted a smart war to minimize civilian casualties because they wanted this thing to be over in March, April, with Ukraine saying they're going to honor the Minsk agreements and they're going to stay neutral. And Arestovich is saying this now. So if they don't get to him because he's admitting all of these things, then I'm convinced this guy's saying stuff on behalf of various deep state agents because they want him to say this stuff, and he's under their protection. Otherwise, he should just get out of Ukraine. That's my opinion. Moldova is now looking to, well, at least the is she the prime minister or the president? Maia Sandu. 1 sec, because I think she's the prime minister, if I'm not mistaken. But she is saying that she's the president, Maia Sandu. She is saying that perhaps Moldova should join NATO. And then you had someone in I believe in the opposition. Ex-president Igor Dondov said in a Telegram post that Maia Sandu continues to draw Moldova into NATO, contrary to the neutrality prescribed in the constitution and the will of the Moldovan people, who are categorically against joining this military structure. So you have Moldova, you have the president of Moldova, who is an EU, WEF. I mean, she's all of those things. She's part of the globalist cool cool crowd, the cool kids. She's part of that clique. She's continues to try and push Moldova into NATO. Aren't we fighting a conflict right now because of this very issue of countries in and around Russia joining NATO? I mean, granted, Moldova is not the existential threat, but you do have Transnistria, and there are issues there. But here she is talking about NATO because her orders are to stir up trouble. Those are the orders that she's been given. Stir up trouble and continue to try and push for some sort of second front against Russia at the expense of your own citizens. I'm just walking back now because I really don't have any other direction to walk towards unless I walk towards the Turkish side, the occupied side. So that's the president of Moldova, and we were speaking about negotiations and how those were just a deception in March, April, to drag the war on, to buy some time so that they can drag the war on and on. Well, one of the people that was responsible for torpedoing the negotiations in March and April was none other than Boris Johnson, the ex-prime minister. At the time, he was the prime minister of the UK. Now he's the ex-prime minister of the UK, and he is our first clown world because Boris Johnson, in his function as a nobody, as ex-prime minister, a nobody, he decided to travel to Kiev and to visit Zelensky. And it was actually on Zelensky's invitation that he visited Kiev, a surprise visit to actually an area outside of Kiev, to be more precise. He was photographed in the town of Borodyanka in the Kiev region, where Boris Johnson traveled after being invited by Zelensky himself. He also visited Bucha, where Russian troops allegedly committed war crimes. Quote, it is a privilege to visit Ukraine at the invitation of President Zelensky. The suffering of the Ukrainian people has gone on too long, he said. The only way to end this war is for Ukraine to win, and to win as quickly as possible. It is time to double down and give Ukrainians the tools they need to finish the job, he added. The sooner Putin fails, the better for Ukraine and for the whole world, he stressed, as reported by The Guardian. All of this is from The Guardian. So Boris Johnson, in his capacity as a clown, visited the other clown in Ukraine. And why is Boris in Ukraine? Well, he was ordered to go to Ukraine, just like he was ordered way back in April, March, that time period, to submarine any chance of peace. Obviously, he's being sent to Ukraine for some other type of subversion. Something is going on. And Boris, I've always said that Boris is Zelensky's handler. Well, because they like each other and they have a lot of things in common and they enjoy the same types of nasal activities. And so Boris, he's been charged to be the handler of Zelensky. He was given this job when he was prime minister, and it looks like he is still functioning in this capacity. So they're calling Boris up to go to Kiev to do what? It's hard to say. No one really knows. But you had CIA Burns. He was in Kiev. And I'll sit down in the same spot I was in just 10 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. And Burns made his little secret trip to Kiev. Now you have Boris making his surprise trip to Kiev. You have all of this palace intrigue taking place. Interior ministers and their entire staffs vanishing. You have this Budanov guy from military intelligence talking about how the negotiations were just one big fake out. You have Arestovich defecting and now blabbing about all of the deception and lies. And of course, you have the catastrophic military situation going on in Bakhmut and that entire area, and Zaporozhye as well. And you actually have the military, not the, is it the military intelligence? I forgot who in the Russian intelligence. architecture. I forgot who, but someone in Russian intelligence, very high up. I glanced over the story this morning, said that they have reliable information that Ukraine is storing a lot of weapons in nuclear power plants. And they're doing that on purpose because their thinking is that if Russia were to strike out at these nuclear power plants, well, then they could then blame Russia for some sort of nuclear disaster. That was an interesting bit of news as well. But I forgot who said that, to be quite honest. Anyway, our clown world once again goes to Boris Johnson because he's going to Kiev as King Clown to meet with the other clown puppet leader, and they're up to all kinds of no good. I don't know what it is. No one knows what it is, but no doubt about it, they're plotting and they're scheming, and Boris Johnson is there to deliver a message to Zelensky or to warn Zelensky or to tell Zelensky something. Who knows? But the last time Boris made a trip to Kiev, he ruined peace. He ruined the chance for peace. So that's I think that's the clown world for today. There's one more clown world I can talk about, and it's this photo from Odessa, and it says, this is a tweet from AZ Geopolitics, which is a great Twitter account. They have this tweet which says, in Odessa, men change into women's clothes in order to go grocery shopping and not accidentally go cannon fodder to war after receiving a summons. Zelensky is talking about more mobilization because he has to cover all of the catastrophic losses in Bakhmut. So he's looking to mobilize more and more people. And from what I understand, in Odessa, they're sending a lot of people to the front lines. So they're trying to gather up whoever they can, and they send them to the front lines. You also have the narrative about what's happening in Transcarpathia. I need to do a little bit more research on this, but from what I understand, Zelensky is also grabbing as many ethnic Hungarians in that region as he can to send them as well to the front lines. So that is what is going on there. Anyway, I will end the video at the courthouses in Nicosia, the district court of Nicosia, right there. You can see the old buildings. TheDuran.locals.com. We are also on Rockfin, and go to the Duran shop, 10% off. Use the code GOODDAY. Take care.